So, I have so many thoughts regarding Eminem's new Darkness video and the actual content of it and the actual topic of it. And we're going to talk about it today, right now. So, let's get into talking about gun violence and gun control and Eminem's place in politics. Welcome to the place where you're in the camera and I'm on the screen. I'm your host, Evan Gray. Welcome to the show. If you were easily offended, there's the fucking door. You can leave. And this is it's just a discussion of Eminem and of the song Darkness and of its meaning and of its importance, not only in hip hop, but in the society that we live in here in the United States and around the world, really in general. So, where to start? We're going to start off with talking about Eminem's place in politics, whether or not he should be a part of politics, whether or not he should speak on it at all. And then, more towards the end of the video, we'll talk about the gun violence stuff, my personal thoughts, and some things that I think may help in the future, and some thoughts that I have that may shed some light on things if you're curious about things. Just kind of putting my thoughts into a condensed video, and not condensed, it's probably gonna be a long video, and just seeing where it goes. So let's talk about whether or not Eminem should speak on politics. And so let's kind of view both sides first. So one side is that Eminem should not speak on politics, that he should keep his mouth shut, that he should leave it to the politicians who know what they're doing, and that he shouldn't stand for anything or anyone, and he should stay out of all of it. And the other side of that argument is that being that he has such a big platform and that he has such a massive following, that he should totally be allowed to just say whatever he pleases, and definitely he should be allowed to say, hey, you know, this is what I believe. I just want you to know what I believe, and I also just want you to just pay more attention and make your own decision. And for me personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think more people should be that way. Now, I would feel very differently if he was saying, I believe this certain way and you need to believe with me, and if you don't, I don't like you. But that's not what he's doing. Sure, in the past, he has made statements in that realm, especially with the shady cipher on BET, where he went after Donald Trump, and he very much say, you know, he drew a line in the sand and said, you know, you're either for or against, and you can leave if you don't like it.
And any fan of mine who's a supporter of his, I'm drawing in the sand a line. You're either for or against. And if you can't decide who you like more in your split on who you should stand beside, I'll do it for you with this. You.
And that's completely fine. That's his beliefs, and I personally agreed with that statement. I was so proud of him being such a massive artist, being able to say, hey, listen, I need to say this, I need to get this off of my chest, and I need you to know what I believe. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, he's gotten smarter about it since then, I think. And more now than ever, it's very much a statement of, hey, just pay attention. That's all I ask. You know what I mean? And it's more like he's matured about it. And, you know, he still isn't gonna be the first person to be like, you know what, it's okay that you're a Trump supporter, or it's okay that you're on this side of the tracks. You know what I mean? Obviously, that's not gonna be him. That's not who he is. That's not who I am personally. That's just one of those things that goes with the territory of being a person like him. Very opinionated, very in the public eye, very non-remorseful, I guess would be the way to put it. It's a difficult subject because there are many people who believe that he should just be quiet. But in my mind, because of the reach he has, and because of the state of the country we live in and the society that we live in, I think if he was actively trying to control people, then I would have an issue with it. But that's not what his message is, and that's why I don't have an issue with it. There's nothing wrong with making powerful statements that make people think and talk like we're doing right now. And there's nothing wrong with discussing this subject from all sides and finding a solution. And that's really what the goal is here, and especially with this video and this song, Darkness. It's a very difficult subject. And it's a very powerful statement that Eminem made to say, hey, pay attention. This is what happens in this world, and we need to do something about it before it gets worse. And that's just a truthful statement. There's a lot of things that need to be changed within the hierarchy of our society. It's all been engineered in a certain way, and it's not the best way. I don't know. That's my thoughts on the whole Eminem in politics things. You know, I do see both sides. I get it. But at the same time, I don't understand if my neighbor on this side can say that they see Trump as pretty much their savior, as the best president who ever lived, as this heroic figure, whereas my neighbor on this side sees him as the devil in disguise and the Antichrist and the horrible president and the worst person. Those two people can have their opinions and still get together for a barbecue and completely not care about that. They're just putting their opinions out there. Why shouldn't artists and people in the spotlight do the same? It doesn't make any sense. Just because they're celebrities, they can't be normal people. That's a bunch of bullshit. We're putting them on a pedestal for no reason. They're just trying to be people. And for somebody like Eminem, who feels so strongly and believes so highly in this country and loves this country so deeply and so much, why shouldn't he stand up for it? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why is it okay for somebody else to stand up for it but not him? I just don't understand the logic there. It's like, just let people be people, and it shouldn't take away from their art. That's that. You know, it still doesn't take away from the fact that he is the greatest rapper to ever live, in my eyes anyway, and in most people's minds. That's just the truth. He's incredibly skilled, and it's very much shown in this song and in the video. There's so much to learn from sharing our culture and our stories with other people. Why shouldn't we sit and discuss these things? Why shouldn't we move forward to a better future? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Let's talk about gun control and gun violence as a whole. This is a video I was so nervous to make because it's such a polarizing topic. But it needs to be made. More people need to discuss it. That's kind of the point. There are so many things wrong with gun control in the United States. And I obviously am not the smartest person in the world. I'm not a politician. And I damn sure do not know what the answer is. I don't have a for sure answer. But I do know, just researching and seeing it from both sides, that there are some things that can quell a lot of fear among people and prevent a lot of tragedy that should be commonplace in the United States as a whole when it comes to gun control. I will be the first person to say that taking guns away from people is the last thing that anyone should ever do in a situation like the one that we are in today's society. You know who took guns away from people and in an effort to make them safer? Adolf Hitler in Nazi Germany. And no one was able to fight back because nobody had the means to. That's not a repeat of history that we want to go through again. I do think that I am a gun owner myself, and I thoroughly believe that we do need these for protection, for hunting purposes, for all of these things. And I don't see a reason why we shouldn't have that. But I also don't see a reason why anyone should be able to have military-grade weaponry, automatic weapons, high-caliber weapons, high-ordnance explosives. Why would a normal person need these things that are only meant to kill people on a massive scale? There is no need for them. There is no need for people to have them. There's no need for fully automatic weapons. Don't get me wrong. They're fun to shoot. They're fun to have. But you don't need them. You're not going hunting with an AR-15 or a 50 caliber sniper rifle. You're just going to destroy everything. And don't get me wrong, there are custom ARs with different calibers and made for hunting, absolutely. But I'm talking about a military stock, semi-auto to automatic firearm with a high caliber bullet. You're not going to hunt with that. There are some game that absolutely can be hunted with that, but you're not taking that out in the woods. You're taking a hunting rifle. You're taking something that has stopping power and a high velocity that can penetrate the animal and kill them in one shot, because that's the truth. You don't need 100 shots to kill an animal. You need one. You need one singular, well-placed shot to kill an animal. That's it. You don't need 100. You don't need an automatic weapon. You don't need a 50 caliber bullet from a mile away, because you're never going to get the meat. That's just stupid. There's no need for these things. These are weapons that were made for military purposes to kill people on a massive scale. That's it. Why would I need that? Why would you need that? You don't. You can have shotguns, absolutely, for home protection. You can have pistols. You can have this and that and the other. I have no problem with those. My problem is with military hardware being in the hands of civilians. That's a massive issue in this country, and is a big thing that contributed to this particular shooting that we're talking about, the Vegas shooting. He had military-grade automatic weapons with a high caliber, with a high distance, and with a lot of bullets. He tore through these people in a horrible fashion, and it is a horrible, horrible, horrible thing to do. And we shouldn't have that in the first place. I'm fully aware of the Constitution. We can't not bring that up. You know, we have to bring it up. The Constitution, the right to bear arms, you know. But also, with that being said, it is stupid and ignorant for all of us to go off of a piece of paper written in the 1700s. It was a different world. It was a different society that the Constitution was written to govern. The world that we live in today is unlike anything that anyone has ever seen on this planet. And we live in a society that needs a set of rules tailored to said society, and we don't have that. And that is a huge problem, because it's so stupid for anyone to assume that that was the final creed. Like, oh, this is going to work forever. It's not. Even there's a second draft for a more advanced society that was made at the same time as the Constitution, but was lost to history. Bet you didn't fucking know that, did you? And it's been lost to history a long time ago. But even back then, they had the thought that, hey, this is kind of just a temporary thing to get us started, but we need to move forward and change this as we go. So why don't we do that? It's the dumbest fucking thing. And that's another thing that it's just a very simple fix that could save a lot of issues. And another thing that I think it boils down to when it comes to gun control is the ability to get firearms. Now, yes, in the past few years, we have come leaps and bounds further than what we were in getting better control for firearms. But for me, there are still a lot of states that it's very easy to get a firearm. I happen to live in one of those states. I could own a rocket launcher in this state legally with the right licensing. That's not even a joke. I think more than anything, there should be a national standard set for getting a gun. And I think it should conclude a federal background check. That's an in-depth background check on you when you go through, and a mental evaluation as to why you would need a firearm and if you're mentally fit to hold a firearm. Those are the two things that would prevent a lot of this tragedy. And don't get me wrong, I don't disagree with anyone in the fact that a criminal is still going to get whatever they want. That's absolutely the truth. It's not the full solution that I'm giving here. These are just pieces to a puzzle that I think would help. And this is purely an opinion-based thing. I don't know if they would help fully. I don't know if they would make things worse. I don't know. But it's better than not doing anything. And that's what we're doing now. And things are only getting worse as the years progress. And that is the truth. We live in a society where there are so many hate groups that are heavily armed and heavily manned that at any point could just decide to go off the rails and murder a bunch of people, and there's nothing we can do about it. And that's a horrible thought. Regarding the background checks and the mental evaluations, I also think in general, as a country and as a society around the world, don't get me wrong, that when it comes to mental health in the modern day, we've come leaps and bounds from where we used to be and where we have been in the past, um, as to understanding and treating a lot of mental illnesses, but we're still so far away from understanding and preventing a lot of things. And I think that people's mental states are in a horrible place right now worldwide, and we really need to pay attention to our brains. This is what carries us forward. Every one of us has the same one, and the way we use it and the way it's treated and the way we have all of these things going through it, like, we need to pay attention. We need to take care of ourselves, and we're not doing that, and we're not showing the proper respect to these diseases and these things going on with people and in their heads, and that we really need to take it more seriously. So in conclusion, what I think will help: military grade weapons should be outlawed, or at least harder to get. Background checks need to be more severe, more monitored, and more in-depth. Mental health needs to be taken more seriously and looked into more, especially in these communities. There needs to be a nationally recognized and nationally adopted gun control standard set. And I think that's not obviously the full answer. I don't have the full answer. People much smarter than me can probably come up with a full answer, but I am just giving pieces of a puzzle that needs to be solved, and needs to be solved quickly. Because without those pieces, where are we going to be left as a society, and where are we going to go? How many more tragedies is it going to take for us to do something? How many more children need to die before we do something? How many more innocent people who have done nothing wrong need to be murdered in cold blood before we stand up and say in one voice that we are not going to take it anymore and we are going to do something about it? How many people do you have to see dead in the street, or how many news articles do you have to read or watch about people dying before you pay attention and do something about it, other than sitting and bitching about it and listening to everything you hear on Facebook? How difficult is it to just say that this is wrong and we need to do something and actively work to change it? Just because it doesn't affect you doesn't mean it's not a problem. That's the truth, and that's the problem with society today in general. People just assume because it's not in their backyard, it's not happening to somebody they know, and it's not in their family, that it's not has no effect on them and they don't need to do anything about it. And that's a bunch of bullshit, because eventually it will affect you and it will get to you. And when it does, it's going to be horrible. And then you're going to be the first person to bitch about it and be angry about it. And that's just the truth. And it's a bunch of bullshit. People, I'm not saying for you to just jump onto a side. I'm not saying for you to be on the left or the right. I'm not saying to side with one or the other. My thought process behind all of this in general is: do your research. Look at all sides objectively from the outside. You do your research, think about it, and make your own conclusion, and go forward accordingly. And the biggest thing that I can't emphasize enough, especially for people my age or younger, for the love of God, just fucking register to vote and vote. That's it. Votes make a difference. You may not think so, but they fucking do. Every single one of those votes makes a difference. Every single one of our voices makes a difference. That's all the thoughts I kind of have there. In conclusion, with the Eminem stuff, I do absolutely think that he should continue to put his opinion out there. There's nothing wrong with it as long as he's not actively trying to control people and push them into a certain idea of how his vision of the world is. And he's not gaining any political gain. He's not running for president. He's not actively trying to change the mind of people in Congress. He's just trying to get the message out so we all pay attention. And there's nothing wrong with that. And if you think there's something wrong with that, you need to reevaluate yourself, because you're being ignorant and fucking retarded. And that's that's just the truth. You're listening to me speak right now, and you'll listen to other people speak about these things on one side or the other, but you won't listen to somebody who, one, obviously has put in so much time, effort, and research into these things, and two, is very passionate and very much loves the country he lives in and wants to make it better. But you won't listen. That is a dumb and ignorant stance to take, and I have no respect for anybody like that. One-sided people and people who just blindly follow are the epitome of what is wrong with society today, because there is a massive amount of people who will just do that. Before I rant for another however long this video has been, that's going to do it for this video. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see the actual review, my 3-minute review of the Darkness video and song, be sure to check that out. It's up on the channel right now. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smack the like button. If you're new to the channel, new to me, and you want to see all the videos that have come out this week and that are coming out, and all the videos on the channel, be sure to subscribe. Don't forget to fondle the bell if you want to see when things go up on the channel. And I will see you all in the very next video of whatever I make. Ta-ta for now. Now I'm out. Oh.